Hey, good morning. It's Mahood Life. Julie here. This is reading through the Bible in a year. We're reading through the Chronological Bible this year. We're finally in the Psalms. Just a note, remember, David wrote a lot of the Psalms, so we just read all about David. And Psalms that he wrote, they pulled them from the book of Psalms, and we have already read a lot of them when we were reading about David, because it put it all in, order, the way it happened in history. So I'm in a different location today, so I don't have any of my mugs, but I do have my coffee. So you grab your beverage, whatever it is that gets you going, and sit back and let me read you the Word of God. It begins with a commentary entitled The Book of Psalms. Imperfect as he is, David has a pure heart. This is perhaps best seen in the many songs or psalms which he writes. The contents of his songs reveal a wide-ranging spiritual sensitivity, from deepest sorrow to highest joy. Several psalms which demonstrate the breadth of David's emotions have already been presented, like I just said. There were the soul-wrenching laments at the deaths of Saul, Jonathan, and Abner. There was the keen sense of relief when David was delivered from Saul and other enemies. There was the sheer celebration and thanksgiving when the ark was being brought into Jerusalem. And there were the many ardent prayers for his own safety. Songs of praise, supplication, and thanksgiving are clearly a significant part of Israel's worship, as evidenced by David's recent appointment of singers to minister through songs and prophecy at the temple. All of those appointed are trained and skilled in music. They and their descendants after them will continue to propagate the songs of David and to write other songs themselves. A collection of 150 of these songs, known as the Psalms, contains songs not only by David and Solomon, but also by the sons of Korah, Asaph, Heman, and Ethan, who were assigned to the ministry of songs. Even a song of Moses is included, Psalm 90. Because of David's significant contributions to the Psalms, both personally and through his ministers of song, most of that collection is presented here at this point. Based upon the specific indications accompanying particular Psalms, 17 of the Psalms have either already been included in the historical record or will soon be presented. Another 21 Psalms, which are apparently written at a later period, will be presented in two separate groupings within their appropriate historical contexts. The remaining 112 Psalms are presented at this time. Although the original collection was divided into 5 books, the Psalms which follow are taken from all of those books and rearranged within 5 major topical groupings. Okay. Another little commentary entitled Psalms of the Troubled Soul. In the first grouping of 35 psalms, the fears of one whose enemies beset him on every hand are reflected. The enemy not only threatens physical harm, but also brings mockery, jeers, slander, and lies. Often the enemy is a former friend or a companion of the one oppressed. At times, the writer even doubts that God hears his prayers. At other times, he gives thanks to God for having heard his supplications. At times, there is doubt that anything lives beyond the grave. At other times, there is a clear message of resurrection. There is a harsh attitude against the enemy, with prayers for not only the enemy's destruction, but the destruction of the enemy's family as well. Yet David himself has repeatedly forgiven Saul, the one who has most directly threatened his life. The apparent harshness, then, may be simply the exaggeration of a pursued and fearful soul. In all, these psalms speak to anyone who has ever known persecution for righteousness, or anyone who feels betrayed or alone in the midst of a hostile world. So we begin with Psalm 5, Prayer for Protection of the Righteous. Give ear to my words, O Lord. consider my sighing. Listen to my cry for help, my King and my God, for to you I pray. In the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you. And wait in expectation. You are not a God who takes pleasure in evil. With you the wicked cannot dwell. The arrogant cannot stand in your presence. You hate all who do wrong. You destroy those who tell lies. Bloodthirsty and deceitful men the Lord abhors. But I, by your great mercy, will come into your house. In reverence will I bow down toward your holy temple. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make straight your way before me. Not a word from their mouth can be betrusted. Their heart is filled with destruction. Their throat is an open grave. With their tongue they speak deceit. Declare them guilty, O God. Let their intrigues be their downfall. Banish them for their many sins, for they have rebelled against you. But let all who take refuge in you be glad. Let them ever sing for joy. Spread your protection over them, that those who love your name may rejoice in you. For surely, O Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield. The next one is Psalm 6, a prayer for deliverance from enemies. O Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, or discipline me in your wrath. Be merciful to me, Lord, for I am faint. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are in agony. My soul is in anguish. How long, O Lord, how long? Turn, O Lord, and deliver me. Save me because of your unfailing love. No one remembers you when he is dead. Who praises you from the grave? I am worn out from groaning. All night long I fled my bed with weeping and drenched my couch with tears. My eyes grow weak with sorrow. They fail because of all my foes. Away from me, all you who do evil, for the Lord has heard my weeping. The Lord has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer. All my enemies will be ashamed and dismayed. They will turn back in sudden disgrace. Psalm 7, prayer for refuge from enemies. O Lord my God, I take refuge in you. Save and deliver me from all who pursue me, or they will tear me like a lion and rip me to pieces with no one to rescue me. O Lord my God, if I have done this, and there is guilt on my hands, if I have done evil to him who is at peace with me, or without cause have robbed my foe, then let my enemy pursue and overtake me. Let him trample my life to the ground and make me sleep in the dust. Arise, O Lord, in your anger. Rise up against the rage of my enemies. Awake, my God, decree justice. Let the assembled peoples gather around you. Rule over them from on high. Let the Lord judge the peoples. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, according to my integrity, O Most High. O righteous God, who searches minds and hearts, bring to an end the violence of the wicked and make the righteous secure. My shield is God Most High, who saves the upright in heart. God is a righteous judge, a God who expresses his wrath every day. If he does not relent, he will sharpen his sword. He will bend and string his bow. He has prepared his deadly weapons. He makes ready his flaming arrows. He who is pregnant with evil and conceives trouble gives birth to disillusionment. He who digs a hole and scoops it out falls into the pit he has made. The trouble he causes recoils on himself. His violence comes down on his own head. I will give thanks to the Lord because of his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of the Lord Most High. Psalm 10, prayer for relief from oppression from the wicked. Why, O Lord, do you stand far off? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? In his arrogance the wicked man hunts down the weak, who are caught in the schemes he devises. He boasts of the cravings of his heart. He blesses the greedy and reviles the Lord. In his pride the wicked does not seek him. In all his thoughts there is no room for God. His ways are always prosperous. He is haughty, and your laws are far from him. He sneers at his enemies. He says to himself, "Nothing will shake me. I'll always be happy and never have trouble." His mouth is full of curses and lies and threats. Trouble and evil are under his tongue. He lies in wait near the villages. From ambush he murders the innocent, watching in secret for his victims. He lies in wait like a lion in cover. He lies in wait to catch the helpless. He catches the helpless and drags them off in his net. His victims are crushed. They collapse. They fall under his strength. He says to himself, "God has forgotten." He covers his face and never sees. Arise, Lord, lift up your hand, O God. Do not forget the helpless. Why does the wicked man revile God? Why does he say to himself, "He won't call me to account"? But you, O God, do see trouble and grief. You consider it to take it in hand. The victim commits himself to you. You are the helper of the fatherless. Break the arm of the wicked and evil man. Call him to account for his wickedness that would not be found out. The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations will perish from his hand, from his land. You hear, O Lord, the desires of the afflicted. You encourage them, and you listen to their cry, defending the fatherless and the oppressed, in order that man, who is of the earth, may terrify no more. Psalm 11. Security of righteous from threats of the wicked. In the Lord I take refuge. How then can you say to me, "Flee like a bird to your mountain"? For look, the wicked bend their bows. They set their arrows against the strings to shoot from the shadows at the upright in heart. When the foundations are being destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord is on his heavenly throne. He observes the sons of men. His eyes examine them. The Lord examines the righteous, but the wicked and those who love violence his soul hates. On the wicked he will rain fiery coals and burning sulfur. A scorching wind will be their lot. For the Lord is righteous. He loves justice. Upright men will see his face. And that ends the reading for today. Thank you for joining me here on Motherhood Life. And join me again tomorrow when we continue with more of the reading of Psalms. Have a blessed day.